Hello everyone. My name is Noelle Russell and today is episode 3 of the series Finding the Right Fuel. So thank you for joining. Just a few short years ago I was working as a mechanical engineer in a project management type of role. And due to some challenges along the way in my journey, ended up transitioning to being a stay-at-home mom, kind of running our whole household of 5, and now I'm using my research and problem-solving skills to help people improve their health and their lives instead of helping businesses improve their mechanical systems. So, I might not have all the answers, but I'm definitely sharing the research and the journey that I've been on. So today we're going to talk about episode 3 in Finding the Right Fuel. In the first episode we talked about just getting started with healthier eating, just kind of the basics of keeping a food journal, starting to just be more aware of what you're eating, how you're eating, portion sizes, things like drinking more water, trying to cut out the soda, and reduce alcohol and that kind of stuff. Just the basics. So not really changing, drastic changes to how you're eating, but just being a lot more mindful of how you're eating. Okay, so that's kind of step 1. And then step 2 is once you have the basics, you understand the basics, then the next step is transitioning to cleaner eating, and that's what I talked about in episode 2. So when we talk about clean eating, that really gets down to transitioning to better choices. So when you're looking for, say, protein, looking at better choices of protein, healthier choices of protein. And also, besides just looking at portion control, also starting to learn more about the proper macronutrients. So how much protein, carbs, and fat you should be getting in a day and getting that proper ratio. I talked about the portion fix container system eating plan that I have found to be really helpful in my life. So I talked about that a little bit, and then just kind of some of the basics, how you start transitioning some of your healthier or some of your favorite things to healthier versions, or some of your favorite recipes to cutting out some of those unhealthy ingredients like the processed sugar to more natural sweeteners like honey and pure maple syrup, things like that. So there's a lot you can do. I never advise doing a complete overhaul of your diet in one day. I really think it's a journey. I grew up eating fairly healthy. My mom cooked fairly healthy growing up. So I think I benefited a lot from that. But I was your typical girl going to college out on my own, living out on my own, and having freedom to cook whatever I wanted to. And before I started this journey a couple years ago, I would start my day with Entenmann's coffee cake and a huge glass of apple juice or cranberry juice. I would start my day with cereal or French toast with syrup and butter on it. So I've come a long way. I've made little changes along the way. And that's one thing I really want to convey. Thank you. Hi, Erin. To everyone that is joining on or watching the replay of this is don't be overwhelmed to start. You know, just make one small change this week and then build on it next week. That's really what my journey has been like. And I think what's hard is that I'm sharing a lot on social media now and you see my journey now, but you didn't see me over the past 3 or 4 years. You didn't see what I was eating 4 years ago or 5 years ago. You only see what I'm doing now. So it's hard to compare kind of like the chapter 1 of your book to the chapter 20 of my book, right? So comparison is the thief of joy. What I just want to encourage everyone is everyone's journey is unique. So start where you are, do the best with what you know, and then just work to improve. Okay? Yes, baby steps, Erin, for sure. Baby steps are huge. I think so many people get overwhelmed to even start because they think they have to overhaul everything to eat better. But really, baby steps will get you where you want to go. You just put one foot in front of the other each day and you will make progress, right? Okay, so getting started is hard. You've accomplished that. Transitioning to cleaner eating, it's not an overnight process. It takes time. You gotta learn what works for you, for your body, for your fitness level, for your activity level, what works for your family. So you get to the point where you're eating clean and you're eating healthy, and maybe you're still struggling. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to do a couple videos addressing some of those things, but I want to kind of get to the advanced nutrition. So what if you understand how to get started and you understand how to eat clean, but maybe you really struggle with sticking to it? Maybe you struggle with some inflammation or food sensitivity issues. Maybe you struggle with carb cravings or sugar cravings, where you feel like I really enjoy eating healthy, but I'm craving sugar all the time. Like I'm craving coffee all the time because I'm so tired. Those are kind of the topics that I'm really trying to spend some time researching, and so that I can help myself, but also help some of the people that I'm working with. So my personal experience with it, I jotted down some notes, but I'm going to try to kind of go just more casual today. But with my journey, that's kind of what my journey was. I started with the basics. I started transitioning to cleaner eating, kind of hit a plateau, and then knew, okay, I need to probably increase the portion sizes of how much protein I'm eating. I probably need to decrease the carbs, but like I need some kind of plan. Portion fix is the best thing that I have found that has worked for me for not a diet, but teaching you how to eat, how to change your habits, and how to change your lifestyle. And that's what I that's what I practice, that's what I preach. I don't believe in diets. I don't believe in doing something extreme for a short period of time and then going back to how you were. So portion fix really helps teach you what the proper portion size is when you put food on your plate, and also how to balance the nutrients throughout your day. Okay, so my personal experience with that, I think it's a great plan, but I have trouble sticking with it long term. If there's anyone else out there that has done it, usually you get, inspired with, say you join one of my challenge groups and you're starting a new fitness program and you're ready to go, you're excited, you plan out your meals, you understand the containers, you follow the containers, and you're doing really great for, say, a month or maybe in 2 months or 3 months. And then you start feeling like, you know what, I really don't want to be so strict all the time. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to plan stuff out. I kind of just need a mental break. That's how I've been in this cycle for a couple years. It's just I'll do really good for a time and then I kind of fall off for a little bit because I just want to take like a mental break. But every time I do that, every time I go off those containers and go off that plan, I start eating more carbs and more sugar. Okay? And I think at first it's like, oh, well, I'll just have a glass of wine here, or I'll have some chocolate there. But it is amazing to me how many times I stop. I'm like, gosh, I am eating a lot of chocolate. Or gosh, I've had a lot of wine in the past month. And it's just what I found is the more sugar you eat, the more carbs you eat, the more you crave it, right? And then you get into this vicious cycle of you're craving it, and your body is telling you to eat it, so it makes it harder to stick to your plan, right? So I think the basics is when you're just learning how to eat healthy, if you're not getting the right nutrients in your body, then you can start craving things. So cravings are usually your body's way of telling you that you're not getting something you need, right? But sugar and carbs and all that is so addictive. So that's kind of where I was in this vicious cycle of eating really healthy, cooking really healthy, doing really good, 80-90% of the time, but still struggling with those cravings. And holiday time, that's where it hit. Like November, December, holidays, there's treats everywhere. You're going to parties, you're with family, everybody's peer pressuring you to eat all of their stuff, right? But then the more you're eating that stuff, then the more you're craving it. And I found for myself, I was always struggling with like bloating. Carbs, sugar go hand in hand with bloating for me. So getting to the beginning of this year, I was just ready to change more than I wanted to stay the same. So I thought I could do well with a plan. So I thought I'm going to do the Whole30, which if you're not familiar with that, I'll kind of go through that a little bit. I'm going to do the Whole30 or I'm going to do the Ultimate Reset. And that's where I was at the beginning of this year. Both of them are going to be hard, okay? Both of them I have to change how I'm eating and cut a bunch of things out, and both of them I don't know if I can stick to. Both of them kind of have definitely different philosophies, definitely different goals. But I went with the Whole30 because I could still work out with it. Okay. I love my fitness. That's something that's been a journey as well. But I love working out. I need it for mentally, for stress relief. I have 3 young kids. My life was crazy. I didn't want to give up my workout, so I thought I'll do the Whole30, right? Okay, so if you're not familiar with Whole30, that's what I'm going to talk about or focus on today. So if you have questions, I'm kind of a little bit new to the whole doing live video, but if you have questions, just type them in there. And if I don't see it right now, I will get to it at the end. But I kind of want this to be interactive. If you've never tried it and you have some questions, I'm usually pretty much an open book with any of the stuff that I try, because my whole goal is to learn something and help myself feel better and be in control of what I'm doing, and also help as many people as I can along the way. So if you have a question, post below and I'll either get to it right now or I'll get to it later. Okay? So Whole30, a lot of people have heard of it, a lot of people haven't. Okay? So basically with the Whole30, let me go to my notes so I can make sure I get to everything. Okay. So the Whole30 is kind of, I would describe it as like a dietary reset. So you cut a bunch of things out of your diet for 30 days to cut out all the things that cause issues for people. You cut them out for 30 days. You follow very strict rules, 100%, no cheats, nothing for 30 days. And then one by one, you introduce the categories to see how you react and if you have any sensitivities. So it's really good for cravings, breaking that cycle, because you cut all that stuff out. Or if you have any kind of issues, health issues related to hormones or inflammation or gut issues, because you cut out all the things that cause trouble. So a lot of people think like, wow, that's super extreme when they look at the list of what they have to cut out. Like, oh, that's super extreme. Why would you ever want to do that? That's crazy. But I think for me, I have seen so many people along my journey of helping people with nutrition that I think either don't have a good understanding of what they're eating is the reason why they're having the health issues, or maybe don't want to accept that the food and drinks that they're consuming is what's causing the issues for them. And food is such a sensitive topic. I have for sure learned that with working with people on their nutrition. It's such a touchy subject. Because there's so many emotional ties, right? And that starts from the time we're little, of how we grow up, those habits, like how our family is, how our parents are. A lot of people have emotional ties and emotional issues with food, and that's really hard to break as an adult, right? Does anyone else feel that way? So you have a really great day and you turn to something to celebrate. You have a really crummy day and you turn to something to comfort you. Like, so many people do that, and it's so hard to break those mental ties. And I've always been so intrigued by the extreme fitness people that are 100% in control all the time. You know, and I've thought, like, how do you get to that point where you're just in control and you make the right decision 100% of the time? Because I struggle with it, and I feel like I've made huge progress over the past 3 or 4 years, right? So I think that's why this program kind of intrigued me, was I think this could help a lot of the people that I'm working with. But I don't want to recommend something to a friend or a client that I haven't tried myself, because I don't know how hard it is. It seems like it probably wouldn't be that fun. So maybe I should try it before I recommend it to people. Okay? So basically, you focus on, every time you eat, you are focusing on lean protein, high quality protein from meat or seafood or poultry or eggs. Your carbs come from vegetables and fruit, and then healthy fat. And there's guidelines on which ones to do for those. But you're cutting out all sugar and sweeteners, all alcohol, all dairy, all grains, all legumes, and any kind of baked good or treat that might be made with the okay ingredients. Like, you're cutting that out too, because you really want to break those emotional ties. So what it is looking at what foods bother your system, and also what foods make you not in control of your choices. okay? And so for me, I had the sugar carb craving cycle that seemed like it was always hard to break, and I just always felt like, man, my willpower stinks with this. Like if chocolate's in the house, I'm going to eat it. If wine is in the house, I'm going to have it with dinner. I just don't have the willpower. And I know a lot of people feel like that, right? You get set up for a plan and then you fail on it. Or you go a couple days and then you fail on it and you're like, man, my willpower stinks. So for me, that was like the number one thing. And the number two thing is I was in this habit of snacking at night, staying up too late and being hungry and then snacking at night. And when I'm snacking at night, I'm not craving carrots. I'm just going to say that. I don't want carrots at 10 or 10:30 at night when I'm on the computer. Okay? I want popcorn with a glass of wine and then a handful of chocolate chips. That's what I want at 10:30 at night. Just being honest. So I kind of wanted to see if I could break that cycle too, because part of this thing is when you eat dinner, then you kind of close down your kitchen and you don't snack. So I wanted to see if I could kind of break that habit. And for me, like I said, I like to have a plan. If you just say like improve what you're doing, I kind of struggle with that sometimes. So I like to have a plan. I like to have rules to follow. For me, that just works with my brain. Okay? So that's basically it. So you're cutting out those groups that you're cutting out. I think what was hard for me at first, I'm like, do I want to do this? And also hard for some people that were interested in it, but then said, nah, I don't want to do it right now, is you cut out some things that you have heard or you have learned are healthy. And I struggle with that at first. Say like brown rice and quinoa, like whole grains, like that's supposed to be healthy for you, right? So why do you cut it out? And like all the legumes, all the beans, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, why do you cut that stuff out? So there's a couple books that go along with the Whole30 that talk about the science behind it. Or there's a Whole30 book, but then there's a book called It Starts With Food that goes and talks about the science behind it. So I read through all of that, and basically they cut out those groups because they fail 4 of the good food standards. So number 1, if you're eating a food, it should promote a healthy psychological response. So foods that cause some issues in your brain to crave things, like you're cutting those out. Number 2, foods should promote a healthy hormonal response. So some of the foods in those categories you cut out affect your hormones, like dairy products. The third one is that they should support a healthy gut. So some of those issues, like the grains, especially the legumes, sometimes the dairy, cause issues in your gut. And one thing I learned while doing this was that like 70 to 80% of your immune system is located in your gut, which I never really knew that, right? So it goes into how many of the foods we're eating when it hits our gut and it's not the right foods for our body, then it affects our immune systems. And we can either have issues with getting sick because we can't fight stuff off, or we can have like autoimmune response because our immune system looks at that and says like, this shouldn't be in here, this is foreign, and then you start to have autoimmune issues. And that seems to be becoming more prevalent, at least with people in my circle or the circle outside my circle. So if I can figure out something to help people, I'm all for it. And then the fourth one is the food you're eating should support your immune function and minimize inflammation. And I guess I never really felt like I had much of an issue with that until I took all this stuff out. And then I realized how much stuff like the grains and the dairy were really causing inflammation. And that, I have a whole nother topic on my whole journey with eating vegan that I will get to in another video after this one. But so those are the 4 things, the 4 standards, and that's why you're cutting those things out. So I kind of jumped in thinking like, I don't fully understand this, like I don't fully maybe agree with cutting all of these things out, but I'm just going to follow the plan. So it's really like a personal science experiment. So it's not to say you're going to cut all of those things out of your diet forever. It's really just saying, let's cut out all the things that cause issues for the majority of people. Let your system reset and heal. Change, like cut those emotional ties and the cravings and all that stuff. Like work on dealing with like when you're stressed and you would normally have a glass of wine after work, you now have to find another way to cope with that. Okay? So when you do that for 30 days, you're really starting to work on changing, like breaking those ties and creating new habits. If you just do it for a couple days, you're not going to see much of a difference, okay? And then you kind of learn, like, what do you miss? You kind of bring in one thing at a time, and then see how you react and if it's worth it to bring it back going forward. So that's kind of the whole gist of it, right? Okay, so my personal experience with it, that's why I did it, that's what it's for. So it's not, just to kind of clear up, it's not like a diet that you go on and stay forever. It's pretty strict on the rules for it, but there are reasons for it. Yeah, does anybody have any questions up to this point on the Whole30 and what it's for? No? Okay, if you think of anything, just post below. So what I thought, the first week was hard. I think for me, if you've never done a true detox from sugar, if you've never really cut out all sugar, like while you're doing this, you read labels and anything that has any added sweetener, you're not eating. So to cut out all of that, I thought, like, I'm not doing that bad. I'm not eating that much. But to go and cut all of the sugar and grains out 100%, you will experience sugar detox, which is a real thing, or sugar withdrawal, which is a real thing. And for me, it caused headaches. I always struggle with headaches. It gives me this brain fog where I feel like I can't really think straight. Makes me more irritable, especially when I have all 3 kids and husband at home in the evening and they're tired and they're vying for my attention. I find myself getting really irritated with them, having less patience with the kids. So that whole first week was kind of like mind over matter. And what really helped was having a couple other ladies do it with me. I don't know if Ashley's still on here, but Ashley did it with me, and somebody else, Michelle, that wasn't on here. But it really helped to have some other ladies to check in with every day, and we logged our food every day, and we shared, tips and any recipes, and kind of just shared how we were feeling, what was hard, all of that in the journey for the first week. The first week was hard, but it was just kind of mind over matter, and knowing that I had somebody that I was accountable to every day kept me going because I knew I had somebody to check in with. So if you ever want to do it, I suggest getting somebody to do with, or contact me and I can help coach you through it. But after that first week, I think what was hard for me was just like that sugar withdrawal, and then also being really hungry after dinner because I was used to having a snack then, and going to bed hungry. And one of the things that the program does is it shifts when you are overeating carbs, which I thought this was interesting in the book. When you are overeating carbs, just how your body is processing sugar and carbs, when it's getting more than what it needs, it automatically turns it into fat on your body, right? And then your body learns to go to that sugar for energy. So you eat sugar, it goes to the sugar for energy, it sends your body a signal to eat more sugar. So when you're tired, if you're not getting enough sleep, you will find, at least for me, I start craving carbs and sugar. So when I'm not getting enough sleep at night, that mid-afternoon, 3 o'clock-ish, I start craving sugar or carbs. I will think, oh man, I could go for a cup of coffee and some chocolate-covered cashews. Or like that time of day, and then after I get the kids to bed, if I was just going to wrap up, clean up the kitchen, do whatever really quick and head to bed, I'd be fine. But if I stay up and I want kind of like a whole nother period of working time, which if you have young kids, that's what most moms need, that quiet time, right, to get stuff done, then I would find that I would want a glass of wine or some popcorn or pretzel. Always carbs or sugar or chocolate chips or whatever, because your body is saying, I don't have enough energy, I need sugar to give me energy. Well, part of this is when you take it away, you're teaching your body how to go to fat for energy instead of sugar, which I've always heard that term being a sugar burner, and I always felt like I was a sugar burner. When I was out running, I'm a runner, I would always burn through, I could understand I was burning through my glycogen really quickly. I'd be good for the first hour, and then I would tank. But I never could understand how to get to that fat burning mode instead of always looking for sugar for energy. And I have to say, my experience with the program, I transitioned over. It took a couple weeks, but by the end of it, I meant to go grab my results with this. It was crazy the amount of, I know I lost 2% body fat in 1 month, but I lost a crazy amount of weight too. But I didn't lose muscle because I have a scale that tells you like body fat and muscle and then your weight. And I wasn't even trying to lose weight with this. I wasn't starving myself or counting calories or anything. But I could feel that transition in the beginning. I could feel that craving feeling, like when I was tired, when I was looking for energy, I was craving sugar and carbs. By the end of it, I would eat my breakfast, I'd be satisfied, I'd go about my day. The next mealtime, I would eat my lunch, I'd be satisfied, I'd go about my afternoon. I'd eat dinner, I'd close up the kitchen, and I wasn't craving anything anymore, which was amazing. Okay, so my biggest takeaway from this, after that first week of that sugar detox, it was so easy to stick to. For me personally, I honestly was so hesitant to even post anything about wanting to try it because I didn't think that I could do it. I thought I would fail for sure. I'm like, there's no way I can give all that stuff up for 30 days. And by the end of it, if you saw any of my posts back when I was doing it, I was like, I feel so good eating this way. I enjoy eating this way. Why? I'm just going to continue with this. And then some other things came up, and I will get to that in my next few videos. But I felt that switch of burning sugar and looking for sugar to going to burning fat, and my body started transitioning over to burning fat for fuel instead of sugar, which is a super awesome thing, right? Let's see, what else? A big thing is just changing your mindset. You know, I think at dinner time before, I'd always think, oh, I have to have a protein and a veggie and a starch. So I was picking healthy ones like brown rice or quinoa, or a whole wheat roll for my kids or something, whole wheat pasta. But just kind of having that mental shift, like I got to having a lean protein, and then I would put 2 veggies on my plate and make them huge portion sizes of veggies. What I found kind of interesting about this plan is I was so wired to do like the portion fix containers and the portion sizes that I found like after that first week, like I was hungry. So I just started increasing how much healthy fat I was eating, which I really enjoyed. That's the one thing I found like I was craving in that first week was healthy fat. So I started having more healthy fat, and then I was really satisfied with it. So I was eating a lot while I was doing it. So I never felt like I was restricting my calories. I was pretty satisfied, and I don't like being hungry. I've always thought I had a pretty good metabolism, or maybe I've trained it to be fast. I don't like being hungry. I don't like that starving thing. So I totally get why going on a diet people fail, because I hate that feeling. It like messes with your brain and all of that. So I never felt like I was starving on this. Like, you just have to change your mindset of what you put on your plate every time you're eating. But I was pretty satisfied and not hungry. So that was kind of cool. I also, you know, experimented a lot in the Whole30 book. Probably the second half of it is just recipes. So I experimented with just making some stuff. Like I found there's a guacamole recipe in there, which is basic. But I always thought that I didn't really care for guacamole much until I made that recipe and made it my own way. And now I make it like every week, and it's something I have in my fridge, and it's awesome, and it's completely clean. So I think just learning when you go to the store and you flip the label and you're like, oh, that has sugar in it. Oh, it has one of the unapproved oils in it, whatever. You start to cook or make more stuff yourself. And so I learned some more recipes and tried some new things. So that was kind of cool. Let's see. I feel like I am probably talking too much. So, if you have questions about it, I really thought, I guess my like whole gist of doing this, I really thought that, it would be really hard to stick to. I thought I wouldn't enjoy it. In my brain, I thought it was going to be way too much protein for me. I thought I was going to gain weight. By increasing my portion sizes and eating more fat and eating more protein. I really thought that I was going to gain weight on it. I thought I was going to be miserable. I thought I was going to be constantly craving the chocolate and the wine, and I wouldn't be able to stick with it. And I didn't think I was going to learn anything from it. And it ended up being probably one of the best decisions that I've ever done when it comes to health and fitness. Because I learned about my body. I learned that I I can deal without dairy. Like, I never thought I could cut out cheese. Never. That was like probably one of the biggest things. I never thought I could cut that out. And now I don't know the last time that I've had cheese. And I'm still alive, right? And I don't miss it. I don't crave it. I don't miss it. I can't tell you the last time I've had pizza. I never thought that was possible before doing this, right? So I've completely cut out dairy because that causes issues for me. And I have learned that your body is always sending you signals, okay? So I think the closer you get to where your body wants to be, the more aware you are of the signals, if that makes sense. So if you are not even started with your journey and you're eating a lot of processed food and a lot of junk food and that's your normal, you maybe don't understand how good you can feel. But as you transition towards eating healthier, cleaner eating, and you get over to getting pretty good, as soon as you have something that's not healthy for your body, you're well aware of the signals that your body sends you, right? I think the hard part is listening to your body. And that's kind of the journey that I've been on, is listening. Like, if every single time I eat ice cream, my stomach hurts, I probably shouldn't eat ice cream. But ice cream tastes good, right? There's so many things where it's like, every single time I have this issue. So now I'm just trying to get a little bit better at listening to those signals. And I think what this does is, for me, it took out almost every single signal. And then I was well aware of what was causing the issues before. Because when you bring them back in and say you have 3 pieces of pizza and you feel like your gut is super angry with you, and then you're constipated or diarrhea or whatever it is, like, you know, okay, my body doesn't like that, right? And I think it just kind of helps you figure out how to listen to your body better, because all of our bodies were really designed to feel great, to wake up in the morning and have energy. And I think the majority of people don't, right? We don't get enough sleep. We don't eat right. We go to coffee or caffeine and sugar for energy. We go for fast food because we're running around like crazy people all the time. And I think we forget how good it feels to feel good, right? And when you take all this stuff out, I felt really great. Like, I noticed a huge difference. I was sleeping better. My skin cleared up. There was just all these things that, like, I thought I was okay before I started. And then I realized how much some of this stuff, like the sugar, was really doing to me. And I think the craziest thing about it is how much the sugar and the carbs were really controlling my brain and signals to my brain. And once I took that out, I was totally in control of what I was doing. And I think for the first time, I can remember telling Steve this, telling my husband this, I'm like, I feel in control. Like, I feel in control of what I'm doing. And I think that I was pretty good before I started it, but I still was craving stuff that I knew wasn't good for me. I would eat it and I would feel bad, and I would know that I shouldn't be doing that, but I would do it anyways because it tasted good, right? Does anybody else ever feel like that? So I think this was like just such a really good learning experience for learning how to listen to your body and how much some of the stuff that we're regularly eating is really controlling our brain, which is crazy. It's crazy. And now that I've been back to eating, if you've seen my posts, eating the Easter candy over the past couple days, because I still love my chocolate, it's like instant sugar cravings now and carb cravings, and it's insane how quickly that comes back. So now that I know that Whole30 works for cutting all this stuff out, that's what I'm doing. And so it's going to stink for the next couple days, but I know it's going to work. Okay. So, who do I think could benefit from it? If you are eating healthy but you have plateaued, I think this could help. If you are eating healthy but you still struggle with sugar and carb cravings, like I do, I think you could benefit. If you have any kind of health issues related to gut, diarrhea, constipation, you should not have diarrhea and constipation and gas. That means that something you're doing your body's not happy with, right? It's not normal to feel that way. Any hormonal issues, any inflammation issues, skin issues, you would greatly benefit, I think, from doing this experiment. Or anyone that has chronic health issues. I definitely hear a lot about people that are, say, their doctors told them if they don't get better, they're going to have to go on medication to maintain it. If there's any kind of like health condition, or you know somebody like that, I think you could benefit from doing this. So if it's something that you're curious about, post questions below, shoot me a message. If you ever were interested in doing this, comment below or shoot me a message. I'd be happy to run another group sometime. I was really skeptical going into it. I really thought, I'm going to be miserable. It's not going to work. It's just some bad thing. But I can't believe how much I learned from it. And I would love I know it's hard, and I know most people get scared to even try it, but I would love to help you get through it if you want to try it, because I think you could learn a lot about your body while doing it. Okay. And then I recently found out, so I don't know, I feel like when I prepare a lot of notes, I'm going really long on this too. I feel like I am just rambling and talking, so I hope that this is helpful. But I had a really great experience with it, and I'm happy to share anything I've learned. So I journaled every day that I was doing it. I did it for about 5 or 6 weeks before I got really sick with a intestinal thing that my son brought home. But I did it for about 6 weeks. I journaled every day, documented my meals every day. So I'm happy to share that if you ever want to go through and do the program. But I think what is important, and I will touch on some other topics in my next few videos, is that when it comes to nutrition, doing the basics is good for everybody, I think. Transitioning to cleaner eating is good for everybody, I think. But then you get to a point where it becomes individual, I think. And just following the portion fix as is might not be perfect for me. It might not be perfect for you, right? And when you get to the point of I am struggling and I don't know where else to go, I think it's good to start investigating other things. And that's the quest that I am on this year. I love to research, I love to problem solve, and I am going to try to do a better job of just sharing my journey, even when I don't know the answers. I don't know if the Whole30 is the best thing to do, but it worked for me. So I'll tell you my opinion on it. I'll tell you how to get through it if you want to try it, right? I don't know if it's the ideal thing for everyone, but I think there's a lot of people that could benefit from it. Okay? I don't get any kickback from the authors of the book or from the program or anything. I'm just sharing something that worked for me. Alright, sorry about that. I just had a phone call. I hope this is still working. So I also saw there's a book which I forgot that I had ordered a while back. It's called Food Freedom Forever. And in it, I just started it. I was like, oh, I should read this. It talks about that like no eating plan, no dietary guidelines are perfect, right? So regardless of whatever plan you follow, you can follow the plan for a certain point of time. And then you're going to go off the plan. All right. So part of this doing the Whole30 is just giving your body a reset so you can learn more about like how to improve your health, your habits, and your relationship with food. Because a lot of what we do is habit, right? A lot of what we do with food is just habit. So if you can break some of those habits, if you can break some of those emotional ties and get to the point where you start thinking about food as fuel instead of like a comfort or reward, something like that, it becomes really powerful in your life, because then you can make choices and feel like you're in control. And if you want to have a treat, you go and have a treat, and you don't have any emotions tied to it, you don't have any guilt tied to it, you go and you enjoy it, and then you go back to your healthy lifestyle of eating. And I've become pretty good at that. I don't have a lot of that guilt, or, I plan in my treats and all of that. But I think that's something a lot of people do struggle with. It's something called food freedom, or feeling like you are really in control of what you're doing. So I think that using this program gives you some data of changing your habits and then giving you the opportunity to figure out how you want to eat going forward. And if you feel like you're getting to the point where you're slipping into bad habits, you know how to get back on track. You know what bothers you. You know what triggers things for you. I know for me, a big trigger for the wine and the chocolate and that kind of stuff is stress. It's not where I'm just sitting around bored. I don't struggle with boredom. I don't eat because I'm bored. It's when I'm stressed. When I'm stressed, I crave stuff like that. So I know that. So what I have worked on is when I am really stressed, finding other ways to deal with that, right? So, and everybody has different emotional ties to food and drink and what they do, right? So some of that is learning, giving you the opportunity to cut all that stuff out and then learn alternatives for dealing with your emotions. Or doing things to de-stress or calm your nerves or whatever it is. But even doing the program when you go off of it, it's kind of not so much a cycle, but like a learning process. So maybe the Whole30 isn't going to be how you want to eat forever, but maybe you do it and you learn something and you take something from that and you change something about your lifestyle. And that's kind of where my journey has been this year. So I tried that. I learned a lot from it. I'm happy to share what I've learned. I had a really great experience with it. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. But then I wanted to go on and try some other things as well. So, I think that's about all I have on the topic. If you have any questions, I'm happy to do some Q&A. But after that, I will talk about, I did go on to do the Ultimate Reset, which is a healthy detox and cleanse. I will talk about that in the next episode, which I plan to do about the same time tomorrow, lunchtime on Wednesday. I will do that. And then from there, I took it to just continue eating vegan for a while. So I'll do a video on that. And then some of the research I've been doing after that. So I think anything you can do to improve your health, you know, take it as a learning experience, learn something, go about your way, and then come back to it if you need it. But, okay, I hope that helps. If you need any help, I just want to say this at the end. I have a couple groups coming up in May for just some personalized one-on-one coaching, mentoring. If you need help with just nutrition, if you want help with nutrition and fitness accountability and support, I have 2 new groups coming up in May, starting May 1st. If you are interested, I will post an application below. I also have a no sugar group, a free group running next week. If you are interested, just comment below or shoot me a message, or you can go to my Facebook page and look for the event there. But we're going to work on, right now I kicked off my sugar detox today, but next week we're just going to go through kind of my tips for how to cut out sugar, some no sugar recipes that I found that I really like, and how the whole sleep craving sugar connection is tied. We're going to work on getting more sleep as well. So if I can help in any way, please comment below or shoot me a message. I'm always happy to help and happy to share what I'm learning. So thank you to everyone that joined. I appreciate you listening, and I hope some little tidbit of this helped you or will help you on your journey. If there's anything I can do, you know how to find me. Have a great day.